What's going on, everybody? It's Coach, and yes, I'm back. For those of you that have been peppering my comment section with,
"Where are you, Coach? Are you all right? Where's the reactions? We need you back."
I've been releasing stuff. You've seen that. Well, if you've been a true fan of the channel, you'll know that we'll still be releasing stuff very frequently throughout the last handful of months, but I've been gone. And some of you are wondering why. Now, I'm gonna tell a little bit of a story, and if you're not here because you fell in love with Coach Reacts and you don't really care about where I've been and you just wanna see the episode and the reaction and what we're doing today, you can go ahead to this time, whatever this time is, and you can start the reaction. For those of you that want the story, you wanna know where Coach has been, stick around. So it's been a while. I know that, I don't even know the exact amount of time, but it's been a while since I've done a reaction and this reaction series, and some of you are wondering why and where I've been. Well, you'll notice behind me that the garage, the home gym that you're so used to seeing in the other reactions, not there. I'm actually in a hotel room, and this is a whole separate story, but we're in a hotel room right now, and we're gonna make these reactions happen because I have the time. We no longer have that house. If you remember from the last kind of double episode reaction, I talked about we're building our dream home. And fast forward a whole bunch of months and our dream home is almost done. I'll insert some pictures here so you can see, or some videos, I'm not sure, something will be up over here. But this house obviously was a very important part of our lives. It will be a very important part of our lives for the purpose of, yes, my family will grow up in an area that I've always wanted to be in. And secondarily, the new PPA headquarters, the gym, my incredible home space is gonna be right off the back of our house. So I have not had an area to be able to record that I'm comfortable doing. We had a rental, a month-to-month rental that really had no area. It was very small. It was smaller than our last house, which was small to begin with. And kind of being inundated with that, as well as an immense amount of company work. For those of you that know, I do some reactions, but I am the founder and co-owner of Project Pure Athlete. We're a sport performance company that specializes in vertical jump training and technique, and we coach and train athletes from all over the world, including travel training, which is why I'm here right now. I've been working with some of my pro athletes here in Miami. So there's been some stuff going on. That's where I've been. I've been plugging away, lots of stuff happening in the family, but everybody's feeling good. And we're gonna get back to these reactions. So today we're gonna get into, because I've been removed for so long, I'm not gonna lie to you, I kind of don't remember absolutely everything from season 1, so I need to recap. And I found a recap here, Haikyuu season 1 full recap from Relax and Recap. I'm gonna put the link to the original video below. Appreciate this. We're gonna watch the recap. I'm gonna relive season 1 a little bit, so I'm fully prepared to jump into season 2, episode 1. We're gonna get a handful of these reactions done while I'm here, because as I mentioned, I have the time. If you haven't already, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you miss most and what you're most excited for me to see upcoming in season 2. Let's get it going.
I hate intros, Haikyuu Season 1. We kick things off with the introduction of the main character, Shoyo Hinata, as a child who happens to see the National High School Volleyball Championship on TV. His newfound idol, nicknamed Little Giant, plays
for those of you that have not seen Coach Reacts and my reactions, I narrate a lot, I talk a lot. This is how I react, and how I always have my entire life.
3 months where Hinata is joined by his friends Izumi and Koji at their first volleyball tournament in junior high school. Their first game is a pretty massive mismatch when they go against Kitagawa Daiichi Junior High. We get our first look at Kageyama Tobio, who is known as the king of the court, or just king for short. As the match starts, we see that Kageyama is a really good setter,
nicknames for everybody as well, and I will probably
because of his try-hard attitude, plus he's toxic as f***. We get a flashback of the past 3 years where Hinata was obsessed with practicing, but there were no boys who played volleyball at his school. Despite that, he would still practice by himself and constantly beg his friends to help him. By the end of the match,
determined
Hinata
for greatness, we know that.
Obviously lost, but his determination and speed got him noticed by Kageyama. Jump ahead a year to the present at Karasuno High, where Hinata is now attending, following in the footsteps of his idol, the Little Giant. To his surprise and dismay, his rival from the junior high tournament, Kageyama, is at Karasuno as well. Episode 2.
Great moment.
We learned that the best school had rejected Kageyama, so he had to settle for Karasuna. Now the both of them meet the current upperclassmen on the volleyball team. We have the captain, Daichi Sawamura, setter and vice captain, Koshi Sugawara, and a second-year wing spiker, Ryonosuke Tanaka. We learned that the school once attended nationals, which is when the little giant was on the team. Now, on the other hand, they are ranked 8th in the prefecture, considered neither strong nor weak, earning themselves the titles Fallen Rivals and the Crows That Can't Fly.
That's right.
Anyways, we get introduced to Cutie-chan Kyoko Shimizu, who is part of management.
We know
there
Kyoko
are currently 4
is the
first-year
dream
applicants
girl
trying to get onto the volleyball
everybody.
team, so they set up a 3v3 to figure out where they are in terms of skill. Tanaka is assigned to play with Hinata and Kageyama against the other first years and one other upperclassman. Episode 3. In preparation for the scrimmage, Hinata and Kageyama show up before school to practice and practice after school until the sun goes down. They are interrupted by the other 2 first-year applicants and their opponents, Tsukishima and Tadashi Yamaguchi. Tsukishima is kind of a douche when he starts calling Kageyama King, which he hates, and it almost escalates into a fight. In the meantime, they keep up their rigorous practice schedule until their match day.
Right?
Episode 4. Captain Daichi decides to be their opponent's third to make the teams even, and the match gets underway. Hinata is excited to be getting set up by such a talented setter, but Tsukishima's height makes it difficult to score as he blocks all of his spikes. Kageyama takes a different approach to utilize Hinata's insane speed while compensating for his lack of experience. This results in a nasty quick attack where Kageyama uses his pinpoint accuracy to bring the ball to Hinata, allowing him to focus on moving at max speed. It's extremely effective when it works, but they still need to refine it as they keep messing it up. Episode 5. Each side takes a game off of the other, and afterwards the first years officially get into the club and are given their team jackets. Immediately after, Itetsu Takeda, the club advisor, bursts in saying that their first practice match has been set up against Aoba Josai High School. That's also the school where Kageyama's old teammates play, and they're the ones who gave him the title King, which is an insult saying that he was an egocentric king. Episode 6.
Which he was.
Jump ahead to the practice match where we meet the Aoba Josai players. Back to the game, Hinata plays awful because of his nerves and even hits Kageyama in the back of the head with the serve. Needless to say, the first set is a bit of a stomp. However, after some not so subtle intimidation from Kageyama, Hinata is able to go back to normal. They use their combo effectively in the second set, and to the surprise of Kageyama's old teammates, he shows that he is more of a team player now. Episode 7. Part of the reason they were able to take a set is because the opposition's team captain and starting setter Toru Okawa showed up late. He is also Kageyama's old upperclassman that taught him how to play. In the third set, it gets down to game point when they decide to sub in Oikawa, who's now done with his warm-ups. He is also their pinch server, so he serves with intense speed and accuracy, targeting Tsukishima since he is a weak receiver. Luckily, they recover, allowing Hinata and Kageyama to set up yet another nasty combo, winning them the match. Even though they won, they realize that there is a lot of room for improvement, especially in terms of defense and receiving. Episode 8. Now we get introduced to Yu Nishinoya, Karasuno's libero, which specializes in defense. He got a little riled up before the first years arrived, so he was banned from club activities for a month. There is a slight problem though, as he refuses to come back until their ace returns to the team as well. We then hop on over to Takeda, who's trying to recruit Keishin Ukai to be the new volleyball coach.
Smokey McSmokerson
was the old coach at Karasuna during the Little Giant era, but had retired, leaving the team without any proper guidance. Keishin says that he doesn't want to be the coach, but Takeda vows to not give up until he does. The next day, we meet the ace refusing to play, Asahi Azumani, as Sugawara tries to convince him to come back.
I feel like I call him Dad a lot.
Meanwhile, everybody else gets ready for Golden Week training camp, where they have another practice match scheduled at the end of it against Nekoma High. Episode 9. Keishin hears about the match with Nekoma, who used to be Karasuno's rival. He doesn't want his successors to embarrass the Karasuno name, so he decides he will coach them until then. After pulling some strings, he gets players from the neighborhood association team to come help them practice. They are short some players, so Asahi is reluctantly pulled into the scrimmage. While playing, he is reminded of the brutal defeat they suffered, which led to him and Nishinoya getting into an argument, causing him to quit and Nishinoya to get issued his month-long ban. During the match, they put all of this behind them, and the ace of Karasuno returns to his former glory in epic fashion. Episode 10. Most of this episode is about Hinata realizing that his position as decoy is just as valuable as the ace, which is the position he was shooting for to be like Little Giant. The Neighborhood Association go on to win the match, but in the end they learned a lot and played a good game. AHHHH is brought back as a starter with his determination to play back in full swing. This means that Nishinoya is now also willing to play as the libero, giving them a formidable roster. Episode 11. The training camp gets underway and everybody is working hard on their receives to tighten up their defenses. On the day of their match against Nekoma, they get their new uniforms and Hinata gets number 10, which just so happened to be the number of the Little Giant. They are reminded of how tough their opponents are, having never lost to Karasuno even when the Little Giant was on their team. Episode 12. We arrive at the day of the match and we meet the Nekoma team. Karasuno takes an early lead, but Kozume analyzes
what did
their
I
play
call
and
Kemma?
uses big brain tactics.
Initially
to
I
start
said emo
countering
because I was like,
Hinata.
oh, she's
This
so
cost
sad.
them
Then
the
I'm like,
first set
more of a
after
hipster.
Nekoma starts to learn how to predict Hinata's movements. In the second set, Hinata is getting completely shut down, so in response, he tries to learn how to use accuracy to get through the blocker.
Who would have thought
Kageyama
accuracy
tries to
helps?
accommodate him by altering his set so it floats a little longer, adding to their overall arsenal. Episode 13. They switch between the quote-unquote zoomy set and floating set to keep them guessing. However, this isn't enough as they are still maturing as a team, and after playing 6 sets against Nekoma, they lose every single one. This makes everyone more determined and renews the long-time rivalry between the two schools. Episode 14. The inter-high preliminaries are just around the corner, so everybody is working extra hard. Out of the 60 teams in the prefecture, only one will go to nationals, and it's single elimination, so one loss and you're out. The brackets are released.
I remember, it's like I'm reliving the stress.
The stronger teams entering the tournament.
Duke Nukem?
Yamaguchi doesn't want to be the only first year who has to sit things out, so he goes to one of the players from the Neighborhood Association team, Makoto Shimada. He asks him to teach him how to do jumping float serves, which he was demonstrating during their scrimmage.
That's right.
Episode 15. Now we jump ahead to the start of the inner high preliminaries with our boys showing up in style. Their first opponent is Tokunami High. Now it's the moment they've all been working for, their first official match, and things get off to a great start with Karasuno taking an early lead.
I miss the energy. I miss the energy.
Episode 16. Karasuno continue to outclass their opponent, not even having to use their insane quick yet, just sticking to normal ones. We then get a quick look at Karasuno's girls volleyball team with Daichi's future waifu Yui Mishimiya trying to rally because they are trash. They don't and lose, just like Tokonami, who can't even take a set off of Karasuno. They advance out of the second round, but the next match isn't going to be as easy because they are up against Date Tech High. The team's slogan is Iron Wall of Date because of their impervious defenses. This is also the team that shut down AHHHH so hard that he quit, so now is his opportunity for redemption. Episode 17. As the match gets underway, Karasuno takes the lead, but it's sloppy, and really they're getting more lucky than they are outplaying the defenses. We begin to get later into the game, and the Iron Wall starts to live up to its name, shutting them down repeatedly. With them losing momentum,
I feel like there's a whole part about like how Man-Bun was obviously very like almost like post-traumatic stress from like the Iron Wall, and he breaks through at one point.
The second time they bust out their quick confirms to Date Tech that it wasn't luck, so they need to mark Hinata at all costs. By doing this, they play right into Hinata's role as the decoy, allowing the ace AHHHH to shine.
There we go.
The episode with a score of 19-15 in favor of Karasuno, but all of Karasuno's arsenal is now known to Date Tech, so now it's up to them to figure out how to respond. Episode 18. Karasuno goes on to win the first set 25-19, but towards the end, you can tell that Date is starting to find their rhythm. Number 7, Takanobu Aone proves to be a bit of a problem as he is their best blocker. When he is in their vanguard, he marks Hinata, effectively shutting down some of their free quicks. If the series goes to a third match, Karasuno might get figured out and shut down. They claw their way ahead in the second set, and even though AHHHH gets blocked numerous times, he keeps calling for the ball. Proving why he is considered the ace, he powers through the walls, scoring the final point and advancing them to the next round. Episode 19. After that match, they
Getting
are done
close.
for the day, so they watch Oikawa and AHHHH
Watch
play
Dreamy.
in their matches, which they win. When they head back, they see that the tournament was broadcasted on the local news. While watching, they learn that the defending champions are also a massive threat. Led by Wakatoshi Ushishima, they slaughter their opponents 25-6.
I can't remember what
But anyways,
if I nicknamed
for the
him.
third round, they get
He
their
doesn't stick
rematch
out to me.
against AHHHH. Things are going to be a bit different this time because Oikawa is going to be playing, so it's time to see if Kageyama has surpassed his teacher. Episode 20. The two setters go blow for blow, both scoring points early
yes.
on, but then Oikawa calls for an early timeout. After reviewing footage from Katasuno's games, he had figured out that Hinata's callouts are a sign for what quick to use.
Oh yes,
He
I
tells this to the
forgot.
team, and it makes it even harder for Katasuno to get traction in the match as they fall more and more behind. Kageyama is feeling the pressure of playing against his mentor, and it's reflecting in his play. They don't seem to be making any progress and they need a change, so in the last scene, Kageyama is taken out for Sugawara.
Oh yes, and this is
This change of
This
pace
is where
exactly
no,
what
he's
the team
dad.
needed, and Sugawara uses his experience to perform
because it's
well
experience,
under
but I
the
call him
pressure. He is
Gramps
also
because
able
he's
to
like
give
the legit,
everybody
like
some
old
pointers on
wise.
how to handle the opposition spikes based
Or maybe
on what
mom,
he
I don't
observed
know.
from the earlier play.
There's so many
The
nicknames.
massive deficit combined with Oikawa's monstrous serves
I
are
love
too much
those
to
side
overcome,
angles of
though,
those
and
serves.
They lose the first set. In the second set, they realize that they need to find an answer to Oikawa's serve. They shift their position to increase.
Let me know in the
odds of
comments if
Daichi or
during season
Nishinoya
2
receiving the serve,
you want
which
me to
works
do
perfectly.
more
Kageyama seems
like
to be back in
pause
his
and
normal
like
mindset, so they
replaying
decide it's time to
the
reinitiate
jumps
deadly
and the
duo.
different points of performance
Episode
and give my
22.
insights
With
because
Kageyama back in the game, they go on the
I can do
offensive,
that if you want.
switching up their quicks again. They also change up their signals so that the attacks aren't as transparent to the defenders. Kageyama, being the tryhard he is, also tries to emulate Sugawara's friendly behavior to bolster the morale.
Oh,
of
yeah,
the
isn't
team
it weird when he
instead of
acts,
getting
like,
caught up in
happy?
his head. This is definitely a work in progress, but everybody seems to appreciate the sentiment and the effort that he's putting forward to inspire them. He even tries to communicate with Tsukishima, even though the two have never really gotten along
Yeah.
with one another. It's not like they're
Gotta
friends
soften
now or
that line of
anything, but it's
communication.
a little bit less tense. This all comes together nicely, and they go on to win a close set, 25-23. Episode 23.
Episode
The last
23.
set gets underway, and Hinata uses a broad attack, where he swings to the outside faster than the blockers in order to score. To combat
With a
this,
1,000-inch
they stop
vertical.
sending blockers after him, and instead send their libero to receive the spike instead, countering part of their arsenal. Katasuna starts to fall behind again, so Keishin tries to think of a way to break their momentum. He decides to put in Yamaguchi as their pinch server to try and get them some easy points with his jump forward
That's
serve
right.
that he's been
He
working
kinda
on.
shits the
Needless
bed.
to say, the pressure is on, and he can't handle it, leading to him botching his first and only serve.
Yeah.
Even though he didn't score, they still had a nice change of momentum, and Katasuna starts their comeback. Both teams trade back and forth until
Boom.
eventually we get tied at 24-24. Conveniently segueing into episode 24. Once both teams are tied at 24, you have to get ahead by 2 points in order to win. Katasuno takes the first lead, but is immediately answered back. This continues for a while until it gets to be 31-31, and unfortunately, Oikawa is up to serve.
dreams.
This serve ends up leading to a quick point, getting them ahead and back to match point. After a long volley between the two teams, Oikawa is able to predict Kageyama's next play, which allows the defense to shut it down, winning them the match. Everyone is devastated, but being such a new team, they realize that there is still a lot of progress to be made. Episode 25. The next day, everybody goes back to their normal schedules at school while the
That's
third
right.
and final day of the tournament plays out. Oikawa gets a rematch with his longtime rival Ushijima and the defending champs Shida Torizawa. Meanwhile, over to the third years who are asked to think about their future and maybe stop volleyball to focus on studying. We all know that's not happening, and everybody is right back to practice.
Isn't this
Back
where,
over
like,
to the finals,
Kegs
Shida
and-
Torizawa
and-
defend
and
their
Heens
title
are in the
without
gym and they,
dropping a
like,
set, securing their spot in
to have like that mini
Even though
toddler
they
freak
lost,
out.
It's now time for Katasuna to
There's just-
set their sights on the spring tournament, which will be the last chance for the third years to secure a title. Now we hop on over to the OVAs, where we follow Nekama High after they lost at the Inner High preliminaries for Tokyo. After the loss, they are looking for some new blood and find it in the form of a first year named Lev Haiba. Haiba is a bot and can't even spike a ball, but he has a lot of potential. The episode revolves around him trying to find his groove with the setter Kozume, and it looks
Why
like
don't I
he
remember
might become
this?
a real threat. I'm going to be doing the future seasons, and that'll be in
I
the
don't know.
bottom left
I don't remember that last part.
where you can check out all the Haikyuu.
All right. I don't remember that last part, but I think that was a good little snapshot of what the last season had. I brought back a lot of memory. I think I'm still gonna have to feel it out as season 2 starts. You're gonna be patient with me. Feel free to remind me as I make probably tons and tons of draw false parallels to actually what happened. But bottom line is, we got to get into season 2. We got to start chipping away at this. We got to see how Karasuno handles heading in to this kind of spring tournament and where they end up. A lot of redemption has to happen. A lot of growth still has to happen. Regardless, I love it. Actually, recently on our Instagram made a reel that for some reason just exploded. It's got like 20 million views now. I'll post it here so you can see it, but you can go check it out at our Instagram, of a guy who is a phenomenal athlete. I made the comparison. Somebody actually said it initially that it's like, oh, it's like Hinata, like he's freaky, he's short, he hits well, and I posted it and I just brought back a lot of the Haikyuu memories. So anyhow, I'm rambling. Let's get on with it. Hey, it's my pleasure being back again. It's Coach Ty here, Project Pure Athlete. Do all the things that you should do on YouTube. And I'll catch you in the next one. Ready? 3. We're gonna do COVID high five still? Do we have to do it? I mean, I am here because of a COVID positive test. So you ready? COVID high five.